Well, you know we love a good news story on this channel, and nothing has been better news than the survival of Hawkeye himself, Jeremy Renner. And now the actor has broken down what happened on that driveway, how he actually died, what it was like, and his sort of new outlook on life. So it's kind of a superhero story, but something I like covering, so we're going to dive in. Well, as many of you know, we nearly lost Jeremy Renner about 2 years ago. He was actually run over by a 14,000-pound snowcat trying to save his nephew outside his home in Reno. And now the actor has written a memoir about the most traumatic day in his life. Now, the memoir itself is called My Next Breath. And this is the first time the actor has opened up about that devastating New Year's Day back in 2023. Now, this is a scary story, but really does go to show that Renner himself is kind of a superhero in real life. He saved his nephew's life, and in the process nearly got himself killed. Now, recently he was speaking with Yahoo News, and he really dove in a little bit into what happened and what was going on, and honestly guys, it's pretty amazing. Now, according to Jeremy, his body was absolutely broken after the accident, and he firmly believes he actually died on his frozen driveway. Now, in the memoir he wrote, quote, "After 30 minutes on the ice, that's when I died. In death, there was no time, yet it was all time and forever." Now, when he was laying on the driveway, according to paramedics, his heart rate actually dropped to 18, and his nephew and his neighbor reportedly watched his skin turn a blue-green. Now, Jeremy Renner describes an exhilarating peace in while all this was going on, but he said a force pulled him back to life and back to his family, which is very important to so many people. Now, this is where the story gets even more interesting because it has a really startling and strange survival tactic that kept him alive, and that was Lamaze breathing. Now, that sounds kind of strange, but Jeremy Renner actually revealed that he learned his breathing technique when he was 12 in a childbirth class with his mother, and the technique itself actually saved his life. With punctured ribs, collapsed lung, and massive internal trauma, he was able to manually force air in and out of his body, and compared this to doing push-ups non-stop for 30 minutes. In the book, he actually says, "If you can't breathe, I'm a goner." Now, he did add a touch of levity to the whole thing, and he recalled his attempts to escape the hospital just days after the accident, which seems to align with his personality pretty great. With the help of his nephew, he made multiple slow-motion breakouts, dragging IV lines and machines behind him on shattered legs. One attempt, he joked, was like Escape from Alcatraz, if you can't swim. But doctors and nurses eventually intercepted him before he could leave the ICU, and crazy enough, he was still in need of blood transfusions at this point, and so it's a true testament to how strong the actor is. Now, additionally, in the same book, he talks about how he also refused to deal with painkillers and went cold turkey off of Oxycontin. Now, instead of relying on opioids, and we all know how destructive they can be to people, he developed a technique he called the agreement, and basically reprogrammed his body to understand pain. He literally had loud arguments with his titanium reinforced leg, demanding it stop sending distress signals, and over time, he learned to reduce pain to the level of a phone notification, which is something he could swipe away with mental focus. Now, we've heard for long times martial artists developing very similar skills, and again, I know I'm gushing, but Renner here really is a badass, and I am in absolute awe of how he's handled this. Now, it's pretty clear to me, Renner is going to find his way back to lots of great things, and hopefully one of them is Hawkeye. I fully expect him and Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop to not only be part of the upcoming Avengers events, but likely a season 2 of the Hawkeye show. He seems like just one great human being, and I love the fact that the story is having a happy ending. Obviously, personally, I'm pretty impressed, but I am totally curious on what you guys think of this whole story, Renner's new book, which, by the way, I've linked it down below if you want to check it out, and his overall mental toughness, which is something I think we should all aspire to. Sound off in the comments below. Now, before you take off though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily videos and we want to be your place for all the Marvel and DC news, but we're going to bring it to you truthfully and transparently so you're really in the know.